All right, guys, what is the future of recruiting going to look like in college baseball? Obviously, the end of last week, I made some videos. We posted them out about the changes now with the court case being settled for all the recruiting changes. That's in effect now. That's going to go into effect for the 25 class of this coming fall. But that's the way recruiting is going to be looked at. That's the way it's going to work for the foreseeable future. So I want to go over what these changes mean, how it's going to impact different players on the field, whether you're a pitcher, you're a position player, up the field, up the middle of the field, you're a corner guy, what recruiting classes are going to look like because of these changes. And then for you as a high school player, what's the best strategy to go at the recruiting process now? What should you be thinking as far as the types of schools that are going to give you the best chance to get to where you want to be, whether that's you want to get all the way to the major leagues, you want to play pro ball, or you want to get to like your dream school at a very high level of Division I. We have to figure out, okay, what's going to make that chance the highest probability for you. It's not about, well, I want to get there as a freshman and then you're gone and you're in the portal. It's about what's going to give you the best chance to get to that school and be a guy that plays and starts and gets to play every day. So let's look at positions first. If you want to look at the in-depth video, go to our YouTube channel, go to X, it's pinned at the top. That will go into all the details, but let's look at the positions now and how they're going to be affected. So number one, guys, is the pitchers, and the reason I'm making these guys first is this is probably the one position that's going to be affected the least. And the reason I say that is because everyone needs pitchers. Everyone needs good pitching, and even at the highest levels of Division I, they're still going to be going after a good amount of arms in the high school class. The reason is this, guys, and it's much easier to project on a pitcher. It's much easier to look at his current stuff and say, you know what, that stuff plays at our level. That stuff's going to be able to get hitters out. Okay, where can I improve it? But, that right now at a base level can compete at our level. The difficult thing about hitters is even if you like the guy's swing, even if he's a high performer at the high school level, and even on the the travel ball circuit, a lot of those guys get to campus and they just can't cut it. All of a sudden, it's too much pressure with coaches there watching you every game, or the average velocity of a fastball has gone up dramatically. I don't care what you guys think on the travel ball circuit. Your average fastball you're facing is probably like 84. It may even be lower than that. You're going to face some guys that can throw it 92, 93, 94, but the average guy is going to be maybe touching an 88, which means he's sitting around an 84, 85. And so when you go from that to facing an average fastball of 90, 91, if you're at a really good school, that's a huge difference, and that's an adjustment period that a lot of hitters go through. So hitting is just much harder to project as a coach if he's going to be a guy. Now you look at special players like Drew Burress, from Georgia Tech. That guy, it's pretty easy to think, all right, he's probably going to be a stud. But the reality is you don't really know until they get to campus and they prove it. Whereas a pitcher, it's like he's throwing 92, 94, he's got good command off speed. Like, it's no-brainer. We know he's going to be good. So pitching is not going to be as affected as much with these changes. You still need a lot of arms because the ball's flying in college baseball. And so you're going to have a little bit less pitchers, but not as much as you think. So pitchers, not going to be a huge effect for these guys. No big effect. And I'm going to split the position players, guys, up into middle of the field players. Middle of the field. And this is going to be your catchers, shortstop, second base, center field, right? And, all right, what's the impact for these guys? There's going to be some impact. I mean, and this is really the key, guys. All positions are being affected because, like I said, hitting, hardest thing to project out as a coach, hardest thing to, evaluate and say, okay, that's definitely a guy who's going to play for us. So you're going to be much more likely as a coach to spend your, whatever scholarships and maybe NIL money you got on portal guys that are position players. Now you're still going to go after that ace. You're going to go after that big time arm in the bullpen, But the rest of that stuff is going to go towards proven college hitters that if he's coming from a mid-major to a high, to a Power 4, or he's coming from even a D2. I mean, there's a lot of Division II and Division III players that are having a ton of success at high-level Division Is now. And so you'd much rather take a guy that's a proven college hitter that's got maybe he's got 2 years under his belt and he's got 500 at-bats at the college level, and he's a 330 hitter, and he hits for pop, he got some pop and everything like that. You're going to take that guy over taking a chance on a high school player that you have no idea if he's going to come in and have a lot of success. I mean, I've said this a lot in our videos, but I was one of the lowest ranked players in my recruiting class. There were so many position guys that were ranked way ahead of me. I mean, we had 6 outfielders, and I was number 6. And so many position guys ranked ahead of me, and most of those guys in that class really never touched the field. They didn't get a lot of playing time. So that just goes to show you it's very hard to project on high school hitters. It's very hard. But these guys up the middle, you're still going to be looking for these guys in high school because these are your game changer type positions, your athletic guys that can play over the other parts of the field. So your catcher, okay, he's probably not going to be playing different positions, but you need a couple of those guys because they're prone to injury, and an elite catcher can shut down the running game, everything like that. Need a guy that can frame, need a guy that can block. The 2 most important things for a catcher in college baseball right now is blocking and framing. Because you cannot give up free 90 feet in college baseball. Those guys score. They score every time. Your shortstops and your second baseman, they can play all over the field. Usually really good athletes. Usually are above average to plus runners. So they can get moved to the outfield. They can get moved to third base. Second baseman, if he's got the arm strength, he can move to shortstop. Same with the shortstop. So those guys can play all over the field. Your center fielder, I was a left-handed thrower, so I could not go into the infield. They're not going to put me at first base, and obviously I couldn't play other parts of the infield, but I could play right, I could play left. So I had some defensive variability where I could go from, all right, center, I could go to left, I could go to right. These are why these positions are not going to be as effective, because if you're a shortstop, you're a center fielder, you're getting recruited as that, but the coach knows, all right, if center field doesn't work out, we can put him somewhere else. Or shortstop doesn't work out, we can put him somewhere else. You're not locked into that position. Now, as we move to our corner guys, who are first base, third base, and your corner outfield. Corner outfield. Left field, right field. This is the problem for you guys right now. These positions are being just totally taken up by the portal. The amount of first basemen that you can get in the portal that are hitting over 300 and hitting a lot of pumps, I mean, it's a dime a dozen. You can just find them everywhere. Third baseman, pretty similar. Obviously, a little bit more defensive, a little bit harder defensively, position-wise, the hot corner, but still there's a lot of guys in the portal that can fill that role. These are all positions where the bat's got to be really good. You don't want a third baseman who's like a defensive specialist. Same with first base. Same with left field. Same with right field. This is why up the middle positions, the bat doesn't need to perform as much. Don't get me wrong. They're going to want an elite bat there. But at shortstop, you need a guy that can make all the plays. And a guy who's a really good defender at shortstop, that's going to make up for the fact that he may not be an elite hitter. Same with center field, running down, taking away doubles, taking away triples, even home runs. Those guys, there's more emphasis on their defense than just the bat. Second base and catcher, exactly the same. First base, third base, and corner outfield are not defensive first positions. They're not positions where, man, we really need a good defender out there. Now, again, you want a good defender, but there's more emphasis on we need a big bat out there. And you're going to get big bats out of the portal. Especially guys that are proven power hitters. Those guys are just getting locked up out of the portal as soon as schools can do it. So if you're a corner guy out there, make sure a school that's showing you interest, whether it's a D2, a D3, again, guys, with the portal, you can go from any division now. And the portal is more for Division I, But schools are, I mean, they're taking guys from Division III now. They're taking guys from Division II, etc. If you're a corner guy, do not be hung up on, I'm pretty highly ranked and so I'm holding out for a Power 4 school. The reality is those schools are really not going after those positions unless they're elite, unless they think there's no doubt about it. No doubt. Because they're already going to get a lot of portal guys, position guys out of the portal. So if you're in this category right now, man, we need to change kind of what our expectations are going forward. Don't expect just because you're pretty highly ranked in the state as a sophomore, as a first baseman, that you're going to be getting a bunch of offers August 1st or anything like that. I mean, there's a stark reality that's going to be coming with these changes. And even in this category, guys, even in the up the middle players, guys, Power 4s in particular, the reality is if I was coming up in this era now, I probably would not have gone to Georgia Tech. I mean, there wouldn't have been enough space in the recruiting class. I signed at the end of my junior summer, I committed, and so most of that class had already been committed at that point. There's just no way. I would have had to go to either a lower division or a mid-major and prove myself. That's just kind of how it would have worked now. And so these are the things that we need to totally understand about how these recruiting rules are going to affect the coming classes, not just the 25 class, but the 26 and beyond. And this is a reality, guys. And I want to talk about the optimum path now, and kind of where you guys, what your expectations should be in recruiting with these changes. Let's say your goal is to get to a Power 4 school, a highly ranked school, and that's your dream. It's probably a good idea to go to a smaller school, go to a mid-major if that's the fit, a JUCO, a Division II. Those are the routes now, guys. And I'm not recommending anybody just go to a school for a year and go in the portal. But we all kind of know that's what's going on, right? That's what the process has become. Some coaches at the lower levels are embracing that. Recruiting guys saying, hey, we're going to develop you, and if you end up wanting to go in the portal, that's fine. Guys are taking advantage of that. I think that's probably a smart idea. But the new path to getting and here's the deal. This is the point. It's not about getting to this dream school. It's about starting at the dream school. Like getting in the lineup at the dream school. Guys, who cares if you get to a 6 school if you're sitting on the bench? If that's your dream, I guess, but my goal is I wanted to get to professional baseball. I wanted to play as a freshman. I wanted to start. I wanted to have a chance to be an All-American. If your dream is just to kind of sit the bench at a 6 school, great. I think you're probably going to get bored of that pretty quickly. If your dream is to play professional baseball, this is even more important because you cannot afford to go sit as a freshman. That doesn't mean that the dream's over, but most guys that sit as a freshman, they end up not playing professional baseball. That's just the vast majority of them. So it's much better that you guys end up at a JUCO, end up at a D2, or even a small D1, where you're going to get a chance to fight and get on the field. That's the new reality, guys. That is the most optimum path for the majority of players. Like myself, if I was coming up in this era. When I was coming up, no portal. You weren't dealing with 24 or 23-year-olds that are transferring to your school and taking your spot. I mean, we can't complain about it. This is just a new reality. But if I promise you, if you're thinking I just want to commit to a Power 4 because it's really cool, you're going to miss playing the game. You're going to be riding the bench. Maybe you make the travel team. Maybe you make the travel roster. Maybe you don't. And then you're just sitting at home watching a game on TV, you're basically not even on the team. And I just trying to educate you guys because this is how it works. The whole team doesn't travel on the road to Clemson or to Ole Miss or to Mississippi State or wherever. It's a much smaller roster that makes that travel roster. Sure, you can be in the dugout for the home games, but you're not traveling on the road fighting with your brothers to try to get into the the SEC, ACC tournament and into the college NCAA tournament. So guys, that's got to be the new mindset. The new mindset's like, all right, I got to go where I've given myself the best chance to play and put up numbers, and then you're probably going to get paid by a school to play for them, not just in scholarship money, but in NIL. So it's even more benefit for you. That has to be your focus now. Things are totally different now, guys. We can't think like, well, my brother 5 years ago committed to Maryland, so I got a really good chance to do. I'm about the same kind of player. No, you're probably not good enough now. And even if they do offer you, it may not be the best decision. So again, mindset has to change, guys. We have to start looking. All right, we're not looking at getting that dream school right away. For a small percentage of guys, that may be a possibility, but for the majority of us, we got to think, okay, which school is going to give me the best chance to play right away? They play really good baseball. They have a great coaching staff that develops guys. That's where we want to go, where we're almost not guaranteed, but we almost know for sure we're going to have a great chance of getting on the field. That's got to be the goal from now on. All right, guys. We're going to keep updating you guys with some of this stuff, but I hope this helps. If you have any questions about what I talked about, maybe you disagree with me, maybe you think I'm totally wrong, maybe you think I have no idea what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. I'll love to respond, and we'll have another video coming out shortly.